How do you take the audio visual capability of a 15-year-old Ford Fiesta Mk7 and bring it bang up to date in 2026? Well, with one of these great Apple CarPlay and Android devices from iDoing, transforming this into this, a fully functional Apple CarPlay, sat-nav, Android device, remote camera, Bluetooth functionality, and all integrated into your Ford Fiesta Mk7. And bring the audio visual capability of this car bang up to date. So let's get started. Now, it should be noted, we haven't been completely without an Apple CarPlay device in the car for the last few months, as we've been using this great CarPlay device. But again, it is a stick-on device in the car, so it's not ideal. So hence the reason we're going to replace all of this with a built-in device. Well, here we have the standard radio on the early Mk7s, and as you can see, there's 6 buttons here for selecting the channels. The later model of this stereo has a phone keypad there for making phone calls. This version does not have that. I think the version that we've been sent from iDoing actually is the phone version for this stereo, so it may or may not fit, but we won't know until we start assembling it. But in the box of tricks, we've also got a reversing camera right here for the car, so we're going to fit the reversing camera as well. It also has various cables for fitting it to make sure we can do this, including the CAN bus that we need for connecting up the standard functions of the stereo, so we can recreate what this little screen does right here onto the new device. And what these kits also come with is a set of tools that you can use for separating trim. Now, these orange tools are going to be useful for us as we work our way around and remove the old stereo. So I'm looking forward to getting to work on that. So I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this old bit of kit out of the car and see what we've got to work with. With these 2 tools, I'm going to take one of these corners right here and see if I can get the thin end of that wedge under there, lift it up, and you can see, you heard that click, and I can see just under there is our little plastic tab. So I'm going to use my tab, my tool, to see if we can work our way around, just lifting this up without causing any damage, because the last thing we want to do is cause any damage to trim. But you can see we've now separated that all the way around. I'm going to keep working my way around this trim. I would imagine there's something very similar at the back. Now, of course, this is going to be 15-year-old or 16-year-old plastic in some cases, so we don't want to force these tabs if they feel like they don't want to come off. And you can see that is now lifting, but we are just going to be very gentle to try and release these clips all the way around, like so. So we've got all these ones off at the front. I wonder if it slides. It's going to slide that back a little bit, and that, by sliding that back, that has now released those clips, and we've got the plastic trim off. So if we turn that over, you can see there are indeed 6 clips. These 4 metal retaining clips need to be removed from the original bezel and fitted onto the new bezel with the new screen to ensure it makes a snug fit when you reinstall it. You can see by the shape of these, they just are pressed in position, so a little bit of gentle persuasion will get that off nice and easy. So that is our bezel removed from the dash, and now you can see we have the screen set into the dash, and we've also got a couple of Torx screws, it looks like, holding that in position. And this is a Torx bit right here, and it's a T25 size Torx bit that goes right in these bolts. And my screwdriver's too long to fit in there, so I need some smaller tool in order for me to remove these. And this guy is just the job. It's an Allen key style Torx bit, so make sure you keep hold of all of the bolts. And of course, if you ever need to revert this back to the factory stereo, it's worth keeping all these components, because the good thing about fitting this stereo is you're not making any permanent changes, cutting wires. It's all plug and play. So it's a really great solution for those of you that want to make non-permanent changes to your car. And this is where your pry tools will come in handy once more, because you can just literally lift that out of there like that. No broken components. And there is a cable that runs around the back, and it is clipped in. So I'm going to see if I can remove that. and that will allow us to turn this round and inspect the back of the screen. And for removing this electrical connector on the back, you will see there is this plastic push tab. And the way it works is there's a plastic push tab you push down like that. Then this whole mechanism slides forward and it lifts the connector out of the screen like so, which will allow you to then just to remove the entire connector from the screen. The screen is now totally disconnected and we can put that to one side. Now the dash is looking a little bit sorry for itself. We've just got a cable here and nothing else on this section. So I'm going to look at what we have now in the kit that's been supplied by iDoing. And we have two main components. First up is obviously the screen. Now this is the screen that is going to sit in that void that we've now got. If we turn it over, there is a ribbon cable. You can see the screen in there as well. So it's about a 9-inch screen. It has a cover over it to protect it in transport. So it might look like it's scratched or got some damage. That is just the protective layer that comes with it. So I'm just going to put that there to one side because the brains of the operation is this component right here. With this nice detailed close-up, you can see there are these two silver hex bolts right here, and these are 7mm, and both of these need to be removed. So we can remove the stereo itself and actually remove, as you can see in here, the metal part of the stereo that we will replace with the element that's needed for our box. So we now have these two 7mm bolts out the way and the two Torx T25 bolts. So the next thing to do is to remove this stereo element from the dash because we need to remove the actual radio so we can fit this in its place. And after a lot of coaxing and persuading, we've been able to remove this fascia from the stereo. Now it's important to point out you've got this clip here and this clip here, and they slot into the dash just down here, and you've just got to be a little bit persuasive to pull this forward while also removing this clip here and this clip here, which clip in just underneath here and here as well. And I think we've got all we need now after removing this socket here, which is for the hazard warning lights, that we can now remove this metal box. And this stereo, you've just got to be a bit persuasive and pull it forward and it will come out. There are some plugs on the back that we will take a look at shortly, but you can see it's got this plastic circular lug on this side and the same on this side, and they just literally slot in. You can pull that back and that will bring it out. So if we turn that round, you can see we've got this rather large plastic plug here, so we'll disconnect that one to start with, and that one just slots out. Then this smaller one we'll pull out as well, and this must be the aerial for the radio. So there we go, we've removed the standard stereo from the car. Now it looks like there's an awful lot missing here, but I don't think we need to worry about that too much. All we need to worry about is finding somewhere to get this mounted in so it's nice and secure, and also get all of these wires connected up to our stereo. And looking in our selection of wires, the first one we have, I think this is the CAN bus. Is it this one? This might be the CAN bus, and it fits an 09 to a 13 Fiesta. We can see we've got this nice big plug right here, and that's going to connect into that grey socket like that. So that's our first one connected up. Now that one's going to connect into the back of our stereo that we've got right here. You can see it goes into that plug right there. So that is the first one connected. Now we do also have this extra plug here. Can't see where that goes just yet, but we've also got this wire that connects to the back of the radio like that. So we've got the analog radio connected. Now the only one that we really need to find a home for is this particular plug right here. So I'm going to look at what other plugs and cables I've got right here to see if there's one that corresponds to that. I've got most of the stereo reconnected, but I am going to just connect this one last wire. So So if I pull the stereo back out again and flip it over, you can see we've got most things connected up, but this one in particular, this connects up to our rear camera. So need to work out which socket this one goes into. Now on the back there is this whole chart showing you where the different functions go onto, and I think there is one for the camera video input. There we go. So that is F, I think, on the sockets. Oh, it's that one over there. So there is our video input one right over there on that panel, and it does actually show us, if you look on there, it is that socket. Well, it's that panel it's showing that it goes into, but that is the one. It's not in the same position that it's showing on the little picture, but it is into that position there. And what I'm going to do, although I'm not going to connect the camera up straight away, got this socket that the camera will go into, and this is the wire that will connect the camera. I'm going to feed that through the glove box and run it under the carpets at a later time. So what I'm going to do for now is I am just going to feed this camera wire back up into the dash. So I've got that wire right there. I'm going to plug that in so we can connect it at a later time. I've also run the USB cables through the side of the dash as well, so we can charge off the stereo from a USB-C perspective, USB perspective. And I'm going to try and put this back in because there are an awful lot more wires now, and there's not really anywhere to firmly attach this and get this tidy from a wire perspective, because the last thing we want is loads of wires knocking around. We never found a home for this particular plug on the car, so I'm not sure if that's important, but I'm going to leave that disconnected for now at the bottom of the harness. I'm going to move all these wires back across before we get this fully reassembled. And now that we have attached the ribbon cable, I want to just power this unit up to see if it comes to life. So there we have it. The stereo is on. The key for starting this up was to make sure there were no warning lights on the dash, which there are not. So here is our screen powered up, and here we have the finished product. And if we want to look at the fit round the back, fits beautifully with the dash, and it sits nicely on top of the dash here, all tidily done up at the front. We've got the remains of the stereo controls all fitted back in nice and tight as well. And again, the radio operates like this from the dash controls, which is really good. You've got the graphic equalizer right there as well, and of course you've got the menu itself, and of course the volume control works. And what is even better is on this particular radio you can use the controls on the steering wheel. Now I was told that prior to installation on the old radio, these controls didn't operate the stereo at all. So now the dash controls on the steering wheel operate the controls on the CarPlay. Now what you would do is you can set this all up so you can go to all the various apps like this, and the app that you need to set up your Apple CarPlay is this one called CarLink 2.0. That's not documented, but that's the link you would use, and you go in there and connect it up. This particular phone doesn't connect to it because it's already connected to another device, so we won't set that up, but it's really easy to do. But you can see you've got all the variety of apps here, maps, and again it will know exactly where we are in the world, because sitting down there in the corner of the dash, that is the GPS module, and I've run that up the side and up the door pillar and then round and underneath the dash and into the glove box. Can't really show you down there, but the wire, essentially I'm running all of the wires around this part of the dash and then through the air vent or under the air vent when this is all removed, so it's nice and easy to do. This went back together nice and easy. It's probably worth noticing, I'll point the locations out on the old pad here, this whole piece of dash that this has replaced. There are 4 connections at the back of this that are like plastic lugs, and they have like a metal connector over them, and you need to remove those 4 metal connectors from the original dash and fit them onto this, so when it clips down nice and tight. This is the underside of the panel that we've taken off from the original car, and you can see these are the 4 plastic lugs that would have a metal connector over them, and you literally pop those metal connectors off this panel and pop them onto the new one to make a good seal at the back. And here is the main stereo box that we took out. If we look on the back, you can see that smaller plug in the middle there in that black socket. We haven't connected that on the new device we've installed, but from what I can see so far, that's not needed. And the new device is a bit smaller, so it takes up less space and room for the wires. Here we have the screen that's come out. Again, this would be displaying all the original information. Again, that's not needed and can be removed. And it does just clip. This plastic clip here that would be in this socket fits into the new device. But we'll keep hold of all those spares in case we need to put the car back together in the future. And the way you fit that is there are 2 clips at the front here. You loop them over at the front and then you push it down towards the back to make a good connection. But this is a really good device. The sound, I can't really turn it up because of copyright reasons, as you can imagine, but the sound on this device is fantastic. I can't tell you how good it is where you've got audio playing through it. It almost elevates the performance of the standard stereo. So this has come out really well. You've got full functions for setting up the Bluetooth. As you can see here, it's disconnected at the moment, but if we had it connected to the phone, it would work perfectly. Again, the music will all play from the device that it's connected up to. Again, you can set the date and the time. You've got the apps, all the features, the functions, the graphic equalizer. And if you're watching audio visual stuff, so you've got a line in, you can watch stuff in. You can add stuff into this, such as adding an Xbox or an external video player. And of course, it's got the controls for the rear view camera. Now, if I put the car into reverse, what this will now do is that will turn the screen off at this stage because we haven't got the engine running and we haven't got the camera on. But the rear view camera that comes with this will then show that on screen. So it's fantastic. I can't speak highly enough of this. It's a really professional product. It fits so well. So if you have got a Mark 7 Fiesta and you want Apple CarPlay or Android CarPlay in your device, this iDoing product is top drawer. Easy to fit, fantastic sound, and an overall great product. So I think that's a fantastic little device that we've got there on the dash now. It's revolutionized this car. It's turned it into a bang up-to-date vehicle with great audio visual capability. So if you want one of these, I will link them in this video to the iDoing website so you can pick up one of these as well. Fantastic device. And if you've enjoyed this video and me fitting this into the Fiesta and seeing what a great product it is, then please do give the video a thumbs up and also think about subscribing to my channel if you've not already done so. We'll find a whole host of content on the Ford Fiesta Mk7 and making it the best car it can be in 2026. As always, thanks for watching. See you soon. Take care.